Hey everyone, hello. So, I don't talk too often about politics, but I thought this video was worth doing. A new directive was issued this month, which is November 2025, under the Trump administration, which allows U.S. consular officers to deny visas based on health conditions such as obesity. The policy expands how public charge determinations are made, meaning officers can now more broadly consider whether an applicant's health might make them reliant on U.S. public resources like Medicare or welfare programs. And this move has sparked heated debate. Some view it as a matter of fiscal responsibility and national interest, while others see it as a discriminatory and also ethically troubling situation. So the arguments in support of the policy is that, for one, fiscal responsibility. Supporters argue that U.S. taxpayers should not have to cover the medical costs of immigrants with chronic or expansive health conditions. It's seen as a way to ensure immigration benefits those who can support themselves financially and medically, aligning with the long-standing public charge clause in U.S. immigration law. And national health protection, the rising healthcare costs, and the strain on public hospitals. Proponents say this rule helps preserve limited medical resources for citizens and lawful residents who have paid into the system. And also policy consistency. Advocates claim it brings immigration policy in line with other countries. For example, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand already assess potential immigrants' health to avoid undue burdens on public health systems. And now for the cons. So, arguments against the policy. For one is the discrimination and stigma of it. Critics argue that linking obesity or certain medical conditions to visa eligibility is discriminatory. Obesity, for example, can have complex causes like genetic, socioeconomic, and environmental, not simply personal choice. It risks stigmatizing people based on appearance or chronic illness rather than individual merit or contribution potential. And then humanitarian and ethical concerns. Denying entry based on health could violate principles of compassion and equal opportunity, especially for people seeking better health care or fleeing poor medical conditions in their home countries. It raises moral questions about who deserves access and opportunity and whether economic productivity should outweigh human dignity. And then there's public health consequences. Fear of being labeled a public charge could discourage immigrants from seeking necessary medical care once in the U.S., potentially worsening health outcomes and public health overall. And legal and practical challenges. Health assessments can be subjective and inconsistent around consulates. There's concern that decisions could be based on stereotypes rather than medical evidence, leading to bias or misuse. From an ethical standpoint, this directive challenges two fundamental values: utilitarian ethics, promoting the greatest good for the greatest number, protecting resources and fiscal prudence, and then deontological ethics, upholding fairness, non-discrimination, and human dignity regardless of cost. And while a government has a legitimate interest in managing its resources, Equating medical conditions like obesity with unworthiness raises moral red flags. Health should be addressed as a social issue, not a basis for exclusion. In short, the policy may make fiscal sense on paper, but it risks undermining ethical principles of equality, compassion, and justice that are central to American democratic ideals. This new directive forces the U.S. and the world to confront a deeper question. Should health ever determine a person's right to opportunity? Balancing fairness, economics, and humanity isn't simple, but the answer we choose will shape not just immigration policy, but our collective moral compass. So yeah, that's all I have to say on this issue. I would definitely love to hear your comments and opinions on this, so please leave them below. Also help me out by hitting the like button, consider subscribing to the channel, and sharing this video with a friend or two. All right, everyone, until next time, take care. Peace.